Do you ever find that you have like a difficult time sometimes judging? Maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but you see someone walking down the street and they don't have their mask on. Or you see the way someone's driving and weaving in and out of traffic. Or you see someone that is homeless along the side of the road. Do you ever have flashes where you're like, well, they deserve this, they deserve that? They're probably whatever, fill in the blank. You ever find yourself just finding a little bit of bias towards people? Like today's devotional text, like on Tuesdays, we've been going through these do not fear texts, and it comes out of the book of Deuteronomy. And Moses has been running himself ragged, trying to lead the nation of Israel out of Egypt and towards the promised land that God promised to them. And one of the areas he needs a ton of help in is he's trying to manage and share some leadership and share some responsibility is as a judge over personal disputes, over legal issues, things of that nature, and he needs help. And so he has this moment where he gathers his judges together, and they're coming out of a society where everything has been dictated to them, where Pharaoh deems what it's going to be. And then if you're Egyptian, you get kind of preferential treatment over just being a slave. I'm sure there's lots of anger I can imagine around that for Israel. And maybe as they have some Egyptians that are among them or some foreigners that are traveling with them, they kind of look at them sideways and they have some preconceived ideas. But Moses emphasizes to his new judges just how they should go about in their judgments and why, like from where their authority comes from. He says this, Deuteronomy 1:17, "Do not show partiality in judging. Hear both small and great alike. Do not be afraid of anyone, for judgment belongs to God. Bring me any case too hard for you, and I will hear it." So he says, don't show any partiality, whether they're Israelite, whether they're not, whether they have large standing and reputation or very few people know them, whether they earn a lot or they just don't have much to their name. He said, don't show partiality, because in the end, God is our judge. And so he says, don't fear, if you don't provide the judgment that someone expects of you. Don't worry that your reputation will be damaged because you're not treating others the way everyone else would have treated them. He says, hey, leave it to God. And what I need you to do is treat them with fairness and equality and hear them out and understand where they're coming from, to communicate my authority as judge through you. And if you don't know my will in this situation, then go and find Moses, right? If you can't figure out God's will in this situation, go find Moses. And so he kind of gives them these mandates because judgment belongs to God. And I don't know about you, but it's hard to remember that sometimes, isn't it? It's so easy sometimes to draw conclusions, to make assumptions. And I hear through Moses' words the words of Jesus, that he would kind of echo these thoughts later when in Matthew 7:1 he would say, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Like, that's scary. I want to be able to give other people the grace that I crave in my own life, don't you? You see, the opposite of judging someone is to see them as an image-bearing child of God. Like, think about that. Instead of categorizing them as this, that, or the other thing in our society, you can look at them and you could say, I'm going to find the image of your creator, of our creator in you. I'm going to see you as an image bearer of God. That's you, an image bearer. That's me. That's each of us as we wrestle with messy situations on earth, and as we wrestle with equality and our own preconceived biases. How would your life change? How would my life be different if we saw everyone? If everyone you met, what if you saw everyone you met as an image-bearing child of God? How would that change your life? Like, what if we could somehow remind one another, oh, remember they're an image bearer. They're a child of God. And they might not even know it. They might come from the opposite political spectrum as you. They might see COVID differently than you do. They might have all sorts of different issues going on in their life that for you they feel very foreign. You wonder, why can't they just deal with this or deal with that? You might have all sorts of notions, but what if you just leaned in and said, hey, just like me, they're a son or a daughter of the King. So I want to leave you with that challenge this morning. See yourself as an image bearer, as a daughter or a son of the King of Kings, and may we treat one another that way as well. Let me pray for you. God, thank you so much that you claimed us, that you adopted us, that you give us your inheritance of grace and love. May we pass that along to one another. I pray this in your name. Amen.